All right, hey YouTube, welcome back to ATG, A Drift of Grace. I'm your host Brandon, and today I want to talk about a recent milestone that I experienced in my life. So, that being, I just turned 30 a couple of months ago, and going from my 20s, is the dreaded 30s, right? You're an old man, no longer young, and so this video is going to be what I learned in my 20s. And I hope to share my experiences and some of the knowledge that I've gained while I was in my 20s and hopefully help you guys out that who are in your 20s. I think it's good to reflect. I've been reflecting over the past few years now on how I got to my current point that I was, things that maybe I should have improved on, things that I've done, things I should have done, should not have done, and but nothing. I don't ever regret anything. So it's just a point of reflecting and seeing certain patterns, seeing certain actions and how they play out, while also potentially kind of just keep doing the same thing if it's working, if it's not working, and I'll get into it. You'll understand what I'm talking about. So, your 20s is always that time of your life, that decade where you're just figuring things out. Just go adventure, go explore, go just figure out who you are. And I'm here to share some things that I learned. Just figure out who you are. So, personal growth. In my 20s, I felt like I always had to have everything figured out. My path, the plan, what I wanted to do after graduate, or what I wanted to do in my early 20s. Like, I remember in high school, they asked, "What's your 5-year plan?" And immediately after high school, I wanted to go to college. After college, I wanted to start my career, buy a house, have my car, have a family by like 25, 26, already be married and have a kid by 30. My life did not turn out anything like that. So after 18, I went to the Air Force, did that for a couple of years. Then I got out, I run my own trucking company. And then after that, I figured out that, through the lessons through that, from not being disciplined, not having a plan, a business plan, not having a vision on where I wanted to go, and I'm just going through the motions, not having industry knowledge, I was taken advantage of. I didn't know how to handle certain things. I didn't know how to handle employees. I didn't even know how to handle myself. And towards the end of the business, I kind of just let it go because I was just like, what, F it. I'm just going to use the money that I have left up and I'm just going to have to enjoy my life. So, there's things that I learned, at least through that, was to, like I mentioned, just have a plan, have a vision, have a goal, know what you want to get into, do some research, and don't just go in head first like I did. But I've learned, I'm not gonna lie, I did learn. It's just I could have done that in a much different way, in a way better way than that. And so after that, come on, focus. And so after that, I was in a little bit of debt, and I went to work as a security guard. And then from there, it was a grind. I did not enjoy it. I wanted to use that as a stepping stone to get into police academy. I was just killing the physical. Like, I was doing really well. I just blew it out the water. When it came to um, but when it came to the panel interview, I didn't do too well, supposedly. So, and they would like test me on situations on how I respond, like how I would respond as a police officer. And I guess I didn't do too well. I never got that past that part. So I knew that as a security guard, I didn't want to just work this job. I felt like, to me, it was a dead end job. There's maybe three spots for a manager, one spot above them that overlook the whole security department, and everybody's fighting for the three positions, or everybody's trying to go become a police officer. So everybody's going to be fighting over those positions, and that's not something I wanted to do. I said to myself, this is not where I want to be. This is not where I want to stay. And so I decided to go back to school, and that's how I used my GI Bill to go to school. And I realized that using my GI Bill, I was getting paid just as much as I was as a security guard to go to school. Crazy, right? Through that, I was able to get some money, go to school, and with that money, I started investing. I started putting everything from scholarships, from grants, and I just started putting all that money into my TSP. I just started investing. I started maxing out early. Nah, I can't even say early because I was like 24 when I started college, right? I'm already halfway through my 20s. So I graduated within like three and a half years. And then I had a job while I was in there doing like I was like just like a knock technician. After I graduated, would honestly I was unsure. During right before I was graduating, I was unsure what I was gonna go, what I was gonna do with my life. I didn't have anything lined up. Didn't do any internships. I was very stressed out. But I found a job as a field tech for a gas station company, and I was like, let me just hop into it, see how it goes. And I really liked it. I like fixing things. I like managing my day. You go in, see all the tickets, and then you kind of prioritize what needs to be fixed based upon the priority level of what needs to be fixed. So if you have a gas station who has no internet, of course you're gonna get that one first. Or if like a system is down or a register is down or whatever. I really like the job, and to me, I was like, I could just make this work. Like there's not like there was some mobility. They wanted me to do new gas station openings, so I would go in there, I'll do some of the wiring, I'll like set everything up, and they really liked me. They really trusted me over there, and that kind of like got my confidence going through the roof a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Because I asked them, why don't you choose, right? Why not him or why not them? They're like, oh no, they're not good. Oh no, they messed this up. You did a really good job. And I was like, all right, cool. Like I mean, it felt to me it was just like simple wiring, and we're just making cables and we're just splicing it. And I guess the guy who's been there for a while, he's the one that actually does the openings and he does all the little wiring stuff for it. He did it really fast, and I was trying to do it, and like he finished like 2 or 3 minutes before me, but I finished it, whatever. We tested it out. The wire was faulty. And he's like, oh, not working. Who messed up, me or you? And I was like, I don't know. And I'm like, I know I didn't mess up. I took my time. And turns out that he messed up. And so that's why they were like, yeah, you're very, detail oriented, focused, and we want you to do it. But, the scheduling was crazy. Sometimes you come in at 2 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes you come at 3 p.m. And I was just like, am I getting paid more? So I was just fine being a field tech. But opportunity came, and it was when I was just putting a whole bunch of applications out there, and an employer called me 6 months since when I did it, and they asked me, hey, we're interested, do you want to do interviews? And I said sure. So I started doing interviews with them. It was about 2 or 3 interviews, and then they finally said like, oh yeah, we like you, the job is yours. And so I had a decision to make. Do I stay at my hometown where I'm comfortable doing this field tech job for his gas station, or do I actually make a career move into IT and work for the government? This is a tough decision. So I just eventually I decided to take do the career move. So I pretty much packed up all my stuff, and I moved all the way across. I moved all the way across the country. From here, I had to make new friends. I had to get acclimated to the like living out here, to the different, especially like driving. Like I'm so used to having like the lights above the streets. This one's like the lights on the side, and it was a little weird. Oh man, the parking inside the cities are crazy tight. Like there's no parking at all. Like over here on the East Coast, coming from a place where honestly I didn't never even had to pay for parking, especially not at my apartment complex, unless you wanted covered parking or a garage. But yeah, everywhere you go is like you have to pay for parking here, and just a little thing. Cost of living is crazy out here. Oh, and state taxes. Insane. So there's certain things that I learned by moving, but it helped me grow as a person, especially taken that 4-day trip across the country with my dog. Like it just, I was so nervous when I initially left. Like I remember looking back at the mirror, eyes tearing up, almost crying, like wanting to go back. And I got to my first destination. I was like, I can always go back. It's only a day drive out. And then second day, I was like, I can always go back. It's only 2 days. And then after the third day, I was like, all right, this is it. And it's helped me just grow to where I don't feel like I need to stay in one place. I don't feel like I am trapped in one area because it's comfortable to me. And so that's why in a few months or so, I'm going to be moving again to a different state. And just kidding. But so yeah, so like overall, what I learned so far, like career path, like it's not linear. Like I thought I was going to stay home, thought I was going to do IT tech or field tech job, just fixing stuff. But now I'm doing like analytics and app development, and never thought I was going to be here. Never thought. I never thought I was going to leave my hometown. And that's what I mean. Like the journey is crazy. It's not, you can't prepare for it. You think you can, you think you have an idea, but no, I never in 1,000 years would I've guessed the path that I've taken now. And can't even guess what's going to be in the future either. I'm just going to take it, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. And so What I learned also was like financial discipline. Like when I was in college, all the money, I didn't go and blow it. I could have. I could have bought a car. I could have done all this stuff. I invested it. I put it into my Roth IRA. I was maxing that out. I invested a little bit in my individual investment account and just saved it just in case for a rainy day emergency. That little financial discipline, as soon as I started getting to this career field and I started making a lot more money, I still keep that. And I'm doing employer match. I'm doing above employer match. I'm doing like HSA, still maxing out my Roth IRA, but I still have money left over to enjoy myself here to the day to day. I can still go on trips. I can still do things. Like I'm not going to deprive myself of living now either, but I'm also not going to splurge everything now and think about the future. So there's a couple of like that little financial discipline there. Also, I really got into credit cards too. Yes, I have a high credit score. I have a ton of credit cards, like 10, 12, but I'll let you know this right now. I don't have any credit card debt. Honestly, I don't have any debt at all. No car, my car's paid off, all credit cards, no debts, no student loans, no nothing. And I think it's the greatest feeling in the world. I thought about getting a new car, but that could be later on. So yeah, credit cards, use them wisely. I budget. I know how much I spend each month, and I just put that on a credit card to get points. But I never go over my spending budget, so it's always paid off every single month. I'm getting points for it, and I just actually used the points to do my trip because I had 2 weddings this past month, and one was on a cruise, a Disney cruise, and another was back home. Pretty much used my points for the plane right there, back home, and then back over here to where I'm at now, and it didn't cost me a dime for the plane. And so, actually, I might make a video on that. We'll see. But just financial discipline wise, that's what I learned throughout my 20s. It's just save, invest, utilizing credit cards wisely, and I think everybody needs to. Just like even if you don't know how to invest, just look into like the VOO, VTI, just ETF funds. I think the next step would be into property, but finding property at good value is the key, at least for what I believe. And I don't know, everything's expensive over here. So the next topic would be like relationships and communities. Throughout my 20s, like I've never been that type of person that need a whole bunch of friends, just 1 or 2 close friends, even in high school. And having those meaningful relationships just with a few people outweighs having a whole bunch of friends. Just because you have 20 friends doesn't mean you're popular, doesn't mean that they have your back like that one friend would, or 2 friends that would. And you really have to go over quality over quantity in this area. As you go on through life, you'll understand what I'm talking about, and that's just something that you would have to learn as well. And throughout this time too, having a support system. I took this for granted when I was back home. Family's always there. I could always talk to them, friends over there, I could talk to them. Once I moved out here that I realized how important having a good support system is. People that can help you out in your time of need, people that you can call just in case anything happens or you just need to talk. Like I can call and talk, but just recently, last year and this year, I tore my Achilles. That's 2 times I tore it. First time I had to go to the surgery, I had to have one of my friends from my flag football team come get me from the hospital and drop me off. And she was really cool about it, and she drove like 40 minutes into the city to come do that for me, and I really appreciate her. But after that, I had to handle everything on my own. I lived on the 11th floor. I had to initially I had to use my crutches to walk my dog around the building. I'm still high off of whatever they gave me. I'm walking my dog around the building, crutches and everything. And finally I got a scooter, so I'm still scooting him around. I was still working. I had to do everything still. I didn't have any support system out here. And then when I tore it again, I was like, all right, well, I know, I already know how this goes. And I didn't get surgery the second time though. I couldn't do that again. Oh my gosh. I honestly, here's a little funny story. A funny story. I don't like needles. And they had to put a needle in like my hip or something like that to run my leg to do surgery on it. And I was like, So they had to do something in like the little drop thing to put me under. And then I woke up, they did surgery, whatever. But my leg was numb for like a couple of days. And honestly, I was like day 2 or 3, I still couldn't feel my foot, my leg. And I was like, what's going on here? It still felt like just numb. I don't know if it was cold or whatever. I had to put a sock over the cast just to make sure. But, I remember like on Kill Bill, she was like, move your big toe. And I was like, all right, let me try that. Let me try moving my big toe. And I end up just moving just a little bit. I was like, oh, thank goodness. I have moved still. So, but yeah, that was crazy. But anyways, so that's what I learned. tearing my Achilles twice. It's, having a support system, whether it be friends, family, it's really crucial. And so what I say is that in my 20s, I thought I knew what I wanted to do. The paths I wanted to take, everything, but it it never turned out the way it did. And what I learned is that, the failures that I learned, the failures that happened were just stepping stones to success. My trucking company that didn't work out, that failed, made me realize that I need to be more, I just need to be more disciplined, go into areas that I have knowledge about and that I can, I think it's baby steps, like failing, like my trucking club failing made me realize that I need to take baby steps to things. I just wanted to be my own boss, so I jumped right into it. I jumped right into it with 2 trucks, 2 drivers, learning on the go. And I realized, like, hey, I know we all just looking at the end goal, we just want it. And with that, I just learned, like, hey, just baby steps. Baby steps. I should have probably taken some type of like classes or taking a job or something within the field to learn the industry. And just like maybe going with 1 truck instead of 2 once I finally got there. Just little things that I've learned that I just went too fast too soon. But that hasn't stopped me from trying to pursue other things as well in regards to having a business. But what I learned is that, time is valuable. And going, throughout my 20s just seems like that. 10 years right there. Honestly, it wasn't until I hit 24 all the way up until now that I realized, self-improvement, eating right, working out, waking up early, having the discipline to attend classes, don't miss any classes, study enough to get good grades, actually put the work into myself actually. And in order to become that man that I saw myself in the mirror, that I envisioned I wanted to be, I am that man now. And now, honestly, I'm trying to envision the next version of me. It's a little hard because I don't know, but I am who I wanted to be. I guess like to take away or like to summarize this, just be patient with yourself. You never, like I said, you're not going to know what you want to do. You're not going to know the whole game plan from when you're young. No one knows. Everybody's winging it. Everyone's winging it. I'm this. Yeah, I got some friends that still winging it. But they'll get there. They'll find their way. And just focus on growing. Just focus on self-improving and growth. Don't try to be perfect. There's no one's perfect. Just, it's the journey. Perfection, I think, is just something that just happens at the end, if it happens at all, which I don't believe it will. No one's perfect, but just, man, focus on the journey, the growth, and honestly, take risks. Like, I started a trucking company, was a risk, but I learned a lot. Take other risks too. Like I remember I was investing too, and some of the money that I got from college, I started investing. I lost it, but then I gained it back slowly over time, and that's how I learned how to invest a little bit smarter now, instead of just going for the hot stock or the meme stuff. And I would say take risks because you have time to recover while you're young, and time is on your side while you're young. Now I'm talking like I'm an old head, but I'm not 20 anymore, so. I mean, yeah, so I think that wraps up everything that I wanted to cover. And, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, comment down below so we can have a conversation. Tell me about your life. Tell me about, if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, anything that you want to add, share. But yeah, so if you like this video, like it, subscribe to my channel. If you want to keep hearing more stuff about like this, about life. And so, yeah, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.